So moving ahead, we have talk from Dr. Subbulakshmi, our expert talk. So let me introduce Dr. Subbulakshmi. So we have Dr. Subbulakshmi with us, and Dr. Subbulakshmi is a FOSS enthusiast. She is a professor in School of Engineering Science, VIT Chennai, Tamil Nadu. She is a FOSS enthusiast, as I already told. She is passionate about using FOSS for everything in her life. She is doing research. For doing research, she has already used a computer network toolbox, and she has made that available to which is available in Scilab, and she has made the network-based technology into a toolbox and made it available to everyone. Using this toolbox, she has migrated the computer networks lab to Scilab in VIT. She has also completed a couple of textbook companions in Scilab textbook companion FOSSI activity. In addition to using Scilab for computer networks, she has written set of programs in Scilab Arduino interface also. The Scilab Python interface toolbox has also been written by her team and her students under her guidance. And she is also a FOSSI Club member, and she is also a FOSSI Club coordinator at VIT, and she encourages everyone, her students, her faculty members, everyone to help and support FOSSI activities and use FOSS wherever possible. So welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vinita, for the warm introduction. Good evening, friends. So I hope you would have gone through Scilab from the beginning, and then you would have used Scilab, you would have started Scilab, and so some people who are already familiar with MATLAB would have started finding out the difference, how the Scilab is actually making, right? So I'm here, right? I'm here to tell the capabilities of Scilab, right? So how much passionating it is, right? So I'm just looking at the development of Scilab over the years, right? Starting from 2006 to 7, I started using this Scilab. I'm looking at the developments of Scilab, and I'm very happy that Scilab is providing so many avenues for the programmers. Yeah, so the objective of this particular talk is, so how much powerful Scilab is and how we can use Scilab for every purpose of an academic institution. Okay, so using this in that particular contribution itself, so we can also tell how we can contribute to Government of India MOOCs and usage statistics and support given by spoken tutorial team and FOSSI team. I will outline. So I'll tell you why do we go for Scilab, why, who and how are using this Scilab, VIT usage and government support, and what are the assignments that we have completed and what are the ongoing assignments, that we will tell you. Yeah. So why should I use Scilab? MATLAB is wonderful. Okay, so how many of the faculty actually are using this MATLAB cloud version, because we have purchased MATLAB for lakhs and lakhs of cost. But currently, I think you may not be able to provide the licenses to your students. So most of the colleges, right? Most of the colleges, they are going in for the cloud version of the MATLAB. Is it not so? What am I telling is true? Can I get some replies from some of the participants, either the students or faculty? They are replying in chat, it seems so. Yes. Yeah, some people are using Scilab Cloud. Oh, happy to happy to listen this. But most of the institutions, during the last February, we would have made our budget, right? So normally during January and February, we would make a budget for the next financial year. During last January, right, January 2020, we would have purchased a MATLAB for a huge cost that has completely gone waste. Right? So even our institution, we have purchased MATLAB with a huge cost. Yeah, so now once when the Scilab has been used in that place, right? So the huge cost that has been used could have been used for giving some more efficient cloud resources for the students, or it would have been useful for some other infrastructure building or something, right? So even now the situation is continuing. So at least by this year, if the institutions are not investing on MATLAB, right, then if they have started using Scilab, right, then the maximum cost would be reduced. So we need to have the power of development in the Scilab. See, for example, let us say I'm working with the image processing toolbox, right? So once when I'm working with the image processing toolbox, most of the researchers would be adding something on top of the image processing toolbox that is available in the MATLAB. Over the years, when I'm doing my research for say 3 to 5 years, right, I will be having at least some 30 to 50 programs, right? 30 to 50 programs apart from the regular base MATLAB programs that is implemented with so many mathematical functions, calculations, and other things to make my research very wonderful. Okay. So is there a way that I can go and give my programs to MATLAB and make it to be available along with the next release of the image processing toolbox? That is not possible. But it is possible with respect to the Scilab. That's what I just wanted to emphasize. If you are doing something on top of the existing thing, in the next release of the Scilab, you have the option to include your research, which will in turn be used by everyone in the world who will give wonderful reviews, right? So rather than we publish it as a paper which doesn't have the code, right? Once when we are publishing the paper, people will be requesting the code in offline. Rather, if we are publishing the code itself as a part of a wonderful software, no, then we can realize the power of development. Not to reduce our system speed. Yeah, so you know that once when you are installing MATLAB, you will have 50 to 60 toolboxes that are installed by default, and your system will go down. And in Scilab, there is no such case. And we are learning the Scilab resources free of cost and to reduce the MATLAB licensing cost that I have covered. So who are all using Scilab? ISRO, NASA, IITs, IACs, and VIT. And how can I learn and start with Scilab? See, I see maximum apprehension from the faculty. Please understand, from the faculty, not from the students. When I'm asking the faculty, I have many friends from other institutions. When I'm suggesting Scilab, whenever I'm going for a talk to one another institution, I suggest Scilab. Immediately from the faculty, how can I do? Whether my institution will query me, like, how can you use Scilab? No, it is not the case. I'll tell you the real case example. If you use Scilab, the licensing cost would be reduced, and you can explore the power of development to the students. Thereby, you will be appreciated from the management or from your superiors only. Never ever you will have any questions. You can install the required toolboxes alone, read and understand the demos, right? You can start with spoken tutorial, and then you can modify, and then finally you write your own code to start the research and contribution to the world. Okay, so from nothing to the contribution to the world, it is possible with respect to Scilab. So these are some of the myths. Placement is not guaranteed. And the fact is, only the Linux and open source software usage candidates are the first choice of dream companies like Google, Microsoft, and we have a less support. More immediate and constant community support is there. The FOSSEE forums are the best example. And you have less security, it is not there. 100 cross 100 learning of security and improvement is done only through FOSS. Less options to use. There are numerous options. Okay, you can go and search the Scilab toolboxes, right? If there are 2 options for the optimization toolbox from the MATLAB, right? So you can see 25 options of the MATLAB, 25 toolboxes itself that is released for optimization in Scilab. And scope for improvement is less. No, it is not there. This is the only way to explore our skills to the world, and this is not fit for the students. This is the only option to fit for the students. Students have more options, and yeah. So how we are actually using to implement our project-based learning courses. See, in VIT, we have the convention that in every semester, starting from the second semester to the final semester, I can say till 7th semester, every course will be associated with a project. Not even every course, most of the courses. We will ensure that within a semester, a student completes 2 to 3 projects. For all the projects, we are using Scilab and associated open source software, and we are using it for research-based learning for MTech students. And we are using this to do the lab experiments. And we are using Scilab to do research. And we are using the Scilab to deploy our work to the society and get permanent credits as well. Okay, these are the ways that the academic institutions could use. Mainly to do the lab experiments, Scilab could be used. Yeah, so this is the usage statistics at VIT Chennai. So starting from 2015 to till date, right? So many students have done their PBL, laboratories, and the point that I would like to emphasize here is, I just suggest this in my class and laboratory. So associated, see, when I'm handling networks in my university, network subject in my university, associated slots, there will be some 4 or 5 people who will be handling the same subject. They will also start using that because of the power of Scilab. So instead of I'm telling to 60 students, this will be delivered to around 300 students. All the 300 students will explore the power of Scilab, which they will later use it for their final year project or for their research papers, for anything and everything we can use. So yeah, you would have seen this support given by FASI project. This should have been covered by Vinita. So I'm just skipping this. How many textbooks and how many labs have been completed. And now I'm there in the assignments that are completed by VIT. I list down the contributions. So the first contribution is, we have done the computer networks laboratory completely in Scilab. Okay, completely in Scilab. Okay, so there is a toolbox in Scilab called Narwhal, which is used by us to write the computer networking based programs. So the Scilab Narwhal toolbox is a better alternative, or I can say best alternative for NS2. And yeah, NS2 support has been stopped long back, but even then with the with the passion for NS2, people are still using that. NS3, it is available presently, but the installation, configuration, those kind of issues, whether to write the scripts in TCL or to write the direct programming of NS2 in C++, those issues, all those issues could be quickly resolved while we are trying to use the Scilab. So the process which is given in this computer networks toolbox is very much easier, so that I can concentrate more on my research while I'm doing, rather than breaking my head for doing the installation, configuration, and basic compatibility issues. The programming is too simple for this Narwhal toolbox. Okay, so this is the first lab migration project, and the second lab migration project is also completed by Dr. Maheshwari in operating systems, and that is also being currently used. And we have 2 more lab migrations that are proposed by VIT. One is in digital logic and design laboratory, and the other one is in statistics laboratory. Yeah, so this is the second contribution. We have done a set of textbooks, and these textbooks are available in the link. Currently, 2 textbooks have been submitted. 2 textbooks are available, and 3 more textbooks are submitted to FASI Scilab project, and we are waiting for their approval. And yeah, so these are the contributions related to the lab migration and textbook companion project. And this is the third contribution of Scilab Narwhal toolbox to the world. So there is a book released called Computer Networks Algorithms Implementation Using Scilab. You can directly search this book from Amazon, and then we can get it. So this book is published in Amazon, and most of the first year MATLAB programs are coded in this book, and some of the computer networks programs are also coded in this particular book. Okay, so we have submitted some 15 programs to lab migration project of FASI, Scilab FASI. And in this book contains around 220 codes in computer network algorithms implementation alone using Scilab. Yeah, so of the 220, I think some 40 to 50 programs are there in the basic Scilab. Apart from the 40 to 50, around 150 plus programs are there in computer networks algorithms implementation alone using Scilab. This is completely done by using the Narwhal toolbox. And this is the fourth contribution which is done. There is an Android app developed, and Android app developed for the Scilab Garuda Cloud. And so that is yet to be published. And we have given workshops to the VAT students using spoken tutorial. And the free demo of this computer networks toolbox is given to the VAT students for BTech, MCA, MTech. Whenever the students are having computer networks course, then we can very well use this particular toolbox to make the students to understand the concepts. Instead of simply talking over, even for a simple a set of topologies, instead of talking, if you are giving the topologies in the form of a pictorial representation, then students would love to sit in your class. And so we have conducted workshops by using this computer networks. And using this computer networks toolbox, there is a research paper written, and it is published in an IEEE conference, and it is available in this particular link. Okay, so the name of the paper is Encrypted Packet Transfer with Enhanced Digitris Algorithm Using Open Source Tools. This open source tool is a Scilab Narwhal toolbox. And so I'm happy to tell that we have done 2 presentations in the Open Forum and Scilab conference along with Kannan sir. The 2 presentations are computer network simulation in Scilab, an alternative to NS2 and NS3, and a textbook companion using Scilab Android app development. These 2 papers have been presented in the industry-oriented international conference as well. Yes, apart from the regular use of project-based learning, research-based learning, an entire final year project can be built by using Scilab, Sensors, Arduino. Both these projects, they are IoT projects. Okay, so we can very well integrate the Arduino and other boards with the Scilab. We can integrate them with XCOS. We can get the input from the Arduino and other boards and the sensors that are connected to these boards to Scilab. We can do the processing, do some computation, and then from the Scilab, I can send my results to the Apache server, which would be displayed in the browser. Okay, so an entire 3-tier architecture could be very well done by using the Scilab and associated Scilab software. Okay, these 2 projects have been completed, and the students have got the credits for the final year project as well, purely by using Scilab. Yeah, and the contribution that I would like to tell is that Scilab Python toolbox development. Yeah, so during the last April 2020, when the world is trembling with this pandemic, Kannan sir has called one day, and then he was asking, could you develop an interface for Python in Scilab? So the idea was entirely new. So I told, sir, we are good at Python, we are good at Scilab. I'm not sure how to do that. Then he asked, you try and tell me. Then we sat with a set of students, and then we have tried, and finally it was possible to write an interface to Python from Scilab. See, Scilab is basically rich in computational intelligence packages. Python is also rich with sklearn kind of packages, but it is rich in data types and cloud-based and GUI-based implementations. So the toolbox brings the best of both worlds. Yeah, so after this toolbox is released, the toolbox have been given as a reference toolbox for the Scilab Python hackathon that is conducted during June to August 2020, where this toolbox has been used by many people. And they have built, the winning teams have built their modules on the base of the reference toolbox provided by VAT. That's one of the happiest moments, that our work is used by many people and they are able to build something on top of that. And spoken tutorial release for Scilab Python toolbox development is also done around August and September. And the next contribution is that first year MATLAB programs in VAT have been tried in the Scilab. So because of this absence of the symbolic toolbox, we have been struggling a lot. Now, because of the Scilab Python toolbox, we were able to use the SymPy modules of the Python in Scilab, and we were able to implement all the programs that uses the symbolic variables and calculus within the Scilab environment itself. But anyway, we are trying to get a direct solution to implement all the programs in Scilab itself. But currently, whatever the symbolic toolbox is actually doing in MATLAB, that was tried in Scilab with the help of this interface. Yeah, so as a part of as a part of this FOSSEE club, okay, IIT Bombay FOSSEE Scilab project has given the privilege of being a FOSSEE club to VIT. So as a part of the FOSSEE club, right, internships at VIT have been given using spoken tutorial during the summer 2020 and winter 2020. We have offered internships for around 30 plus students, right? In VIT, there is a component of credit for the industrial internship. So the industrial internship credits are sanctioned to the students for these FOSSEE club work, wherein they will be doing any of the textbook companion or lab migration or circuit simulation or case study presentation. For this FOSSEE work, the students would be doing, and they will be getting the internship credits. So these are some of the other assignments that are planned. Book release, already there is a book released in Amazon, and the second version of the books would be released, and the textbook companion, lab migration, research paper publications, workshops, class demos, and MOOC course development, all those things would be initiated hereafter. Yeah, so now this is the important point. So because the Government of India suggested mock courses are covering this FOSSEE and FOSSEE project, right? If we are doing any contribution to the Government of India MOOC courses, then that is coming under the NAAC criteria, which I'm mentioning here. So these are the criteria in NAAC, right? Under which you can show that you are developing some e-content for the NMEICT projects, okay? So capacity enhancement and development schemes, if you are doing any training, right? So now there is a training. Likewise, if you are doing your own training, then that could be shown in the capacity enhancement programs of the NAAC, and assessment under capacity enhancement enhancement and development schemes could be shown if you are conducting the online test also. And this is shown as innovative teaching method proof. And this is also shown as the virtual class and virtual laboratory proof. So I'm just listing some only. If you closely look at the NAAC criteria, you can show the work that you are doing under a FOSSEE and Scilab, and also training by using spoken tutorial in so many criteria. Yeah. So when I'm looking at Scilab, right? So textbook coding is done, laboratory experiments are done, presentation in international conferences are done, book and research paper publication is done. I can able to conduct workshops and class demonstrations. I can release an app, and full final year project is done. I'm not sure what is left in the institution. We have tried all the possibilities and whatnot. Yeah. So this will, when the world is actually moving towards Scilab in this pandemic, okay, so why don't we take a step towards implementing the same for our first year math lab courses, CAC, EEE, ECE, civil and mechanical courses, theory and lab courses. That will greatly reduce the licensing cost. I have given a rough estimate of the licensing cost per institution. And yeah, so I hope I would have convinced you enough to start Scilab for every purpose that you would initiate. So it's time to rethink, discuss, debate, and finally decide on what is best for us and for our students. Yeah. Thank you, Vinita. I'm done with.
Thank you, ma'am. That was really motivating. If anyone has any questions to Subbulakshmi ma'am, we can quickly address it. We have 1 or 2 minutes.
All our faculty members or students are also there?
We have a mixed crowd of faculty and students, ma'am.
Okay.
Anyone can, ask her question. She's very friendly. You can just ask her question.
Hello?
Yes.
Well, this is Dr. Piyush Tiwari from VIT Misra, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have seen many Scilab companion book. So suppose we ask our student to make a list of programs of some book, then there is no copyright issue or something by making a Scilab companion book?
No,
because
sir.
it is by some author, and we are using their
Ma'am, I will.
Yeah, please.
I would like to explain this in my next session. I will take up, so this doubt will be cleared in the next session. I'm going to explain you in details about textbook companion.
Fine.
So I'll tell you what is the difference. So your question will get answered.
Okay.
Piyush Tiwari sir, you're from
Yeah.
VIT AP or?
VIT Mesra.
Okay. There
And
is
I
a
have been
question in-
using this. I have been using Scilab for our students since last, when it was free in 2015, 16 batches.
Yeah.
Still, I thought that let me also do this course so that so many questions are getting answered. Thank you, sir, for speaking.
Thank you. Thank you. There is a question, why AICT does not make it compulsory to all colleges? See, nothing will be made, not only Scilab, there are so many open source software that are available. So AICT will not make it compulsory because actually, see, using this workshop and session, right? So both FASI project and myself, we are not telling that MATLAB is completely, you should get rid of the MATLAB completely. And we are not against MATLAB, please understand. Okay, so that I told this computer networks option is available only in Scilab. Likewise, you may have some options that are available only in MATLAB. Some higher end research computations and the functions might be only available in MATLAB. For those options which is available only in MATLAB, you can go for MATLAB. For those options which are available in Octave and in other Octave, Scilab and Julia kind of open source software, you can explore here. Okay, so AICTE will not make it mandatory. The reason is that they want us to explore and choose which is best for us. And even in our university, we have Microsoft licensing, MATLAB licensing, all those things we have. Okay, so when there is a need, the students should be able to tell, yeah, we know open source software and also we are aware about the commercial software as well. We know how to work with all those things. Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Krupa Mehta from GLS University, Ahmedabad.
Yes.
We are having a syllabus in which we cover data science and machine learning.
Okay.
So how can we use Scilab for that purpose? How this will be beneficial for students?
Okay. Ma'am, actually, data science and machine learning, right? So while you're using data science, I think you might use some...
we are using R Studio.
Yeah. R Studio you can use. Scilab also you could use. See, if you're using R Studio, that itself is open source.
Yes.
So you can use R in Scilab also. You are, I think in the lab migration project, you can go through the current lab migration project where there are so many machine learning laboratories which are already implemented. I have seen a couple of laboratories in neural networks and artificial intelligence. Maybe you can go through. If those laboratories are actually synchronizing with your laboratory, you can directly use this in your laboratory. Is that not, Vinita? Is it true? So there are so many laboratories in machine learning which are already completed, right?
Yes, ma'am. There are many such laboratories.
Yeah. So those things you can go through, Dr. Kripa Mehta, ma'am.
Sure. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Yes.
I am Dr. Roshandar from Lovely Pro University, Punjab.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, is it possible to do simulations related to materials in Scilab, for example, graphene related things?
Very well. Very well, sir. This computer network, using this computer networks toolbox, you can do all the graph simulations. If time permits. Yeah.
I mean, graphene simulation, materials.
Oh, graphene simulations, materials and other things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think Anand sir might be able to answer this question. I have not explored that.
So sir might join us after 5. He has a class until 5.
So if,
we'll keep this question
ma'am.
for him. We'll keep this question for him.
because I'm not aware about this chemical engineering, but maybe I suggest you to go and search in Scilab Atoms for any possible toolboxes that are available for chemical engineering. Scilab Atoms or Scilab Toolbox, you can go and search.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. See,
Sir,
yeah.
Sir,
Please.
what do you use right now to do the computations for the materials?
Actually, we are using COMSOL.
Console, okay.
Yeah.
So the equivalent, find the equivalent open source for it and use it.
I thought, I can see some kind of, some COVID kind of demonstration kind of videos in Skylab. So I thought, why can't you go for Skylab also?
Yeah, certainly.
Because when I work with COMSOL, I require at least 32 GB RAM.
Okay.
Even for doing one simulation, it may take more than 20 hours.
Okay. In that case, actually, the CNN toolbox in Scilab is working perfectly. So if it is taking more time, then maybe the CNN or any parallel processing toolbox in Scilab could also be explored for reducing your computation time.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I forgot to tell, the toolbox that is developed by the VIT students is available in Scilab Autumns itself. It is released for Scilab. So maybe if some others want to use the toolbox also, you can download and use it. So that is a question: how can Scilab be used in embedded systems? It could be perfectly used for all the board and board computations, ma'am. It is available. You can very well integrate your Arduino interface to Scilab, and other components are also perfectly available in XCOS. And is any tools for chemical engineering? It is answered, and Sir will tell. Yeah.
So
Vinita,
are there
thank
any
you.
other questions? So I think we can move ahead. Thank you, ma'am, for your precious time and really motivating talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.